So
This meeting is being recorded.
Finally at the beginning, not at the end.
exactly. So that next week, if you forget something that we're talking about, you can go back and you can take a look. So thank you all for joining us on the first day of June. My gosh, we are all, we're really happy to have you all. It's very nice to see everyone. Carrie, do you want to do any housekeeping with them?
Okay, my housekeeping is to please mute yourselves. I might mute to all, unless you have questions. You know, we're a friendly group. I think we all know each other, but it just helps with the back noise if you are muted. So other than that, no, this is a Wednesday night quickie.
Exactly.
And Barry has some fun and exciting things, and Fontel has some new things that she's done in the store. So we're wanting to share that.
All righty.
Yeah.
Okay, Barry.
All right. Well, first of all, it's good to see everybody and thank you for coming and doing this with us. In the past, what we normally do is this big, gigantic blowout. The last time I was lucky enough to be up in Seattle to be face-to-face with Carrie and Fontel, which has been a long time since we could do that. But it ends up being a lot. So we've decided we're going to start doing things, you know, a little more frequently and narrow them down so they could be more focused. And so we're going to just start right in with this. Some of the things you might have seen before, some of them you've seen in email blast, but there's a bunch of stuff that's also brand new. There's also yarns that we've been waiting for that finally came in, and we're really happy to have them. So I'm going to start with a brand new yarn from Lana Grossa called Mare. And what's really neat about it is the elongated dye. So it is a linen. It's partially recycled. And what's great about it is that it is super soft. So it doesn't have the characteristics of normal linen, where it's really stiff and you have to wash it 1,000 times before it's got some drape. This already has some drape in it. The beauty of it is in the colorations. So this is one colorway, and you can see just how long the dye stamp is on it. It goes a really long way. It shades one color into the next. So there's no big break. And what I love about it is that you can wear it everywhere. I personally would wear this in a heartbeat. I don't think it's feminine in any way. It's got a great feel to it. And it can also be done as a sweater. There's a bunch of patterns, and Fontel's got other things up on the website, so you can see what we've done out of it. But the yarn comes in a big ball. You can see all the shades right in it. I don't happen to have any of it here. I think Fontel's got it in her side. And Carrie's wearing one of the other colors in the same scarf. So there you go. Super, super soft, really, really nice. And it's a fiber that can be used all on its own. I think I knit this on a 5 or a 6 needle, but it can also be blended. So if you want to take it and go up a couple needle sizes, you can even double it and create a tweed by using 2 balls, one from the inside and one from the outside. So it's a yarn that's got what we call legs. It's not just going to be for one project and you're going to be done. You're going to fall in love with it. So this is a fairly new yarn called Mare, and it is finally back in stock, so we can enjoy the beauty of Mare.
And I'm just going to say that on the website, we've posted a little t-shirt with it as well. We don't have it here, but go to the website and you can take a peek at that. It's really, really, really cute.
Yep. It's just got great options for it. Then we've also got a yarn called Spezzotile. And prizes to you if you could spell it, let alone say it. We just abbreviate it. We just call it Spezzo or SP to really abbreviate it. But it's a thick and thin cotton. And so they create a chain. It's tubular. So it looks like a pantyhose. It's the outside cage. Carrie's got it and showing it to you. And then they put raw cotton fiber on the inside. It starts out really, really thin. But when they push more cotton inside, it stretches it. Not to be very nice, but I usually say it's like putting your leg in pantyhose, or if you're playing and you put your arm in it, it stretches the way your body stretches. Now it stretches the way that the yarn stretches. So it expands and it comes back. It's like a thick and thin, but it is 100% cotton. And because the inside cotton is not spun, it's raw cotton, it's very, very light and has great texture. And I'm just gonna take this off so you can get a better look. But that's what spezzotile looks like. In this case, it's knit in garter stitch. So knit every row. It has a really neat little edged border on it, and it's designed to be worn just as a little neck cover up. You can pull it up, it can be worn sideways, and it can be made even longer. And some people have done it and created a little cardigan and done it for kids, or worn it for themselves over a great evening dress with one really beautiful button on it. Super fast. This was a weekend, and I think you're on a size 10.5 or 11 needle. It goes very, very fast. Then, for the classic group, and we know that there's some of you out there, this is also spezzotile, but here it's done in stockinette. So you can see more of the thick, thin texture. In fact, I'll just put my arm in here. So now you can see what the thick and thin texture really looks like. Just plain stockinette, nothing difficult about it, but you're letting the yarn do the work. And it's one of the things that I love about Trendsetter is keep it simple. Put it on a good size needle and get it done. This is just a real classic cardigan. We used another yarn for the border. It's got a great little cabled border. It also allows you to use the same yarn and put a little shell underneath it. Some people have done a tank dress underneath it. Just a real easy classic jacket. We kept it in white so that it's good for all year round. Although seasons are beginning to change, you're certainly going to be able to wear this now. As we head into summer, this will get done really, really quickly. So it's spezzotile. The other thing that's neat about it is it's a special on Fontel's website. So they're running a promotion on it through this whole entire week. And it just gives you an opportunity to try it, to fall in love with it, and to make a couple things out of it. So those are the two things we're starting with. And the next thing that we're going to do.
Barry,
Yeah.
before we move on, I need to remind everybody, if you go to our website, you go to greatyarns.com, and at the top of the screen, it will say yarn, kits, events, and it will say presentations. If you click on presentations, you'll see June 2022. And if you click on that, everything that we're talking about will be on that page. So as Barry said, you know, just for you today, we know that spezzotile is one of Barry's brand new yarns, but as just a little fun thing for all of you, we are going to discount that yarn. So if you go to the website and you order spezzotile and you put this code in, it's called Zoom 50, you will get the discounted price on spezzotile. And it's just for you guys, and it's for the next week. So by all means, visit our website and take a look at presentations. All righty, now Barry.
All right, so how this whole thing started is we have two new yarns from Trendsetter. One of them is called Nuance. It's 100% cotton, and the other one's called Impress, and it's a soy blend. And each one of them, it's exactly the same gauge. And on the ball, it's about the same size ball, but the fiber content is different and the dye ratio is completely different. I'm hearing echo from somewhere. Somebody's, nope, are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go through them. We're going to talk about them, but they are completely interchangeable. And so what we've been finding is that you fall in love with a design, and I'm going to show you some things. You can do them in either yarn. If there's a fiber content that you prefer more, like 100% cotton versus a soy blend, all of them are completely interchangeable. It's all about the dye ratio, and we'll show you that as we go through it. So I'm going to jump back to Fontel. She's actually wearing something that she's going to show first, and then we're going to jump into what I just started talking about.
Okay. So Barry, I have on Cool Merino. So this is a great yarn. It is a chained wool, and you can kind of see it. This is a shadow. So and that shadow is created by changing from knit to purl. And so that just elevates those stitches. So this is a great little poncho. I mean, I wear this all the time.
Yeah.
Lisa can attest to this. We had dinner on Saturday night and I wore it because I love this piece. It's really just easy to do. You're doing 2 rows of one color and 2 rows of the next, but you are changing from knits to purls, and that creates, in this piece, you can see that, so you can see it comes up. It's really a diagonal wedge that gets created by doing this. And you can see it creates, so it comes down in the gold and goes out in the purple. So we have kitted this up. This is what the kit looks like. So this is the one that I'm actually wearing. I think you'll find 5 other color combinations on the website. So this is the cool merino. Cool
Yeah,
merino.
it's a chained yarn. And so you're going to start to see more of these kinds of yarns. Instead of it being plies that are twisted together where it thickens it up, by chaining it, it has an airspace that goes down the center. So it makes it look thick, but it takes out some of the weight. So it doesn't weigh anything. A 50-gram ball on a yarn like that normally would have about 100 yards. In this case, it's got almost double. Super, super soft, lots of elasticity. And I think almost all of you have knit with Altamoda cashmere fine in the past. This is just like a jumbo version of it. It's that same construction. And as Fontel's wearing it now, you can see it's good for all seasons. This is done as a big wrap, and then it's sewn together. But it can be a poncho. You can button it down the side and have it both ways. And it's not often you get to have it both ways. So a really neat design and very easy to do. All right, Fontel, back to you. We lost your, I can't hear you. Nope.
Now,
Yeah.
Now I can hear you. Yep. Now
Okay.
you're good.
Gotcha. Okay, we're going to move on now to some things that we've done here in the store out of Nuance. And this is one of Barry's brand new yarns. And this is what it looks like in the bulb. It's called Nuance. It is 100% cotton, but you can see that it's going to change colors as it goes around. So something that we did here in the store is a scarf or wrap done out of Nuance, done on the diagonal with slip stitches. And so I'm going to show you this from the outside. It started here with the gold. It goes through all the colors. It goes down the other edge and ends in the red. This is one ball of Nuance. I'll show you what it looks like on. I love this piece.
That is beautiful on you, Fontel.
Isn't this pretty? It's light and easy. The cotton is so soft. So again, this is a simple little slip stitch pattern. You are never doing more than 1 yarn in a row. So I started with a little knife edge of black AM cashmere garter. And then I changed to, and this is actually, I started on the outside of this ball. And I'm just doing a diagonal and I'm just slipping those stitches as we go. It's got a wonderful little 3-stitch corded edge on it. So the edges are beautiful and you can easily carry the yarns up the edges and it still looks really neat and tidy. Yeah, so there's that little edge. So mine is as I said, it's this color done with black as a slip stitch over it. What Carrie has is this color, and we just did a complementary, not contrast, but a complementary slip stitch pattern over it. So you can make this your own. You can go for high drama with a lot of contrast, or you can go soft with it with a matching. And what's really interesting, I had somebody in the other day and they had done this in with a light gray slipped over the face of it. I never would have thought that it would be gorgeous. It is stunning. So she chose light gray because that's what her clothing is like. But then all of these subtle little colors come just peeking out underneath the gray. So don't be afraid to make your own color combinations. Again, on the website, we have color combinations there for you, but you can make your own. So don't hesitate to do that. This one, the piece that I have on, took 1 skein of Nuance and 2 skeins of AM Cashmere. And I mean, everybody who knows me knows how much I love AM Cashmere. It's just one of my most favorite yarns. Nuance has 380 yards in that ball. AM Cashmere has 356 yards in a ball. So they are both very generous in their yardages. And I just think that the design and the drape of this is just lovely. So that's my knitted one. So now I'm going to show you what we did. And this time we used the other yarn that Barry was talking about, and that is Impress. An Impress is a 50-50 combination of cotton and soy. And again, these are going to track colors just as the Nuance did. This one has 460 yards in the ball, so it's longer. And this time we did a crocheted version. Where's the green one? Ah, here we go. So
I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in. I'm not much of a crocheter. When Fontel showed this to me, I ran and picked up a crochet hook. I am so mad crazy over this design. I have all over my house blankets and throws. And my first thing was, I want a throw out of that. And I'm willing to crochet it myself. And that says a lot. And I've got lots of witnesses now. So
yeah, you do.
it is spectacular.
So we named this Meandering Lines because it kind of meanders up. It's done the long way. So that's how we are achieving this soft little color change as it goes. And this is 1 ball of Impress and 1 ball of AM Cashmere. And so all of you that are knitters, and you've probably seen patterns. I know Francine and I taught some of you a little stitch that we did, and where we did yarn overs. And this is where you're going to do a single, a half double, a double, and you keep making that one piece bigger and bigger, and then you make it smaller, and then you go on across the row. Again, it's really a lot of fun to do. So Carrie shows you another color. Again, that's this and this. So that was the yarn, and there's the accent to it. I just think this is so cheery.
It's a good word for it. Cheery.
Cheery.
It's also a really fun pattern. I like the way that you did it because it looks like a knit pattern, but it's done crochet wise, and it's just a matter of altering the stitch to get it taller and shorter. It's really beautiful.
I just think these are way fun. And again, so 1 ball of Impress and 1 ball of AM Cashmere. And just as a reminder, Barry said these yarns are absolutely interchangeable. They are. Impress has a little bit more yardage to it, but if you like colors in this that you want to do the other, I mean, you can just change them out all you want. So
even how Carrie's wearing it right now would be an amazing cowl.
It would be, yeah.
So this yarn obviously will make wonderful t-shirts and things. I think Barry's going to show them to you. They print out a little differently. He has some swatches to show you. So when they're knitted on their own, they do a different kind of print. But we fell in love, obviously. We fell in love with this yarn, and we'll keep doing things with it. So we're going to turn you back over to Barry.
And I want to mention that the designer of this piece is actually an employee here in the store. And this one was done by one of my customers, a young man who is in the Navy. He's a Navy cook. And he said, I would really like to do that. Well, so he actually crocheted this model for me. So I'm very pleased to be able to share this with all of you. So, all right, Barry, back to you.
All right, so the cowl that Carrie is wearing, this is it knit. So you can see just how subtle those color changes are. There's a distance between the time that they totally change. And then the opposite is the nuance. And so you can see the difference as far as gauge is concerned in fiber content. Gauge is the same, fiber content is a little bit different, but they are completely interchangeable. So it just depends on the ultimate look that you're going after, but it's nice to have choices. And this is a fairly new piece that we've done, and this is using nuance. And it's done just as a big oversized t-shirt. What's most interesting about it is that this is one colorway of nuance. So that big elongated die, so here's the elongated die, okay? Lots of stripes. You use inside of one ball and outside of the other. And it's done in a slip stitch pattern so that the colors flow one on top of the other. And so you can see it's a really subtle texture because of that slip stitch. Otherwise, you're going to get complete stripes. And this changes the striping, and it changes the way that the yarn works from one side to the other. And the front and the back catch completely different colors. So it is completely reversible, super, super light, and very easy to do. And we've been playing with different things that can be done with nuance. And so people love accessories, and this is one of the newest pieces. I've probably knit 3 or 4 of them at this point. It starts right up here. So you're going to do a little rectangle. You pick up along the 3 sides, and it's worked down from there with increases in the center and increases at each side. So the increases in the center are creating the point at the bottom, and you just keep going. So it's stockinette, it's a little bit of lace, there's some seed stitch in here, and a few little slip stitch patterns. But the idea behind it is add some texture to the color changes, and you can see just how different each of the textures come up, and you knit it right off the ball. Pick it inside or outside, just knit it. That's all you have to do. So super, super easy. The pattern is really clever on how it's done. It works you through it step by step, detail by detail. And because I've knit it so many times, I've made my own alterations to it. So you're going to have one that's been test knitted many, many times, and it's really fun to do. And once I knit something and I fall in love with it, I don't often want to knit it again. But in this case, I've had so much fun that I wanted to take it up in a needle size. So this is exactly the same pattern, but I've mixed it with a strand of mohair. Instead of a size 6 needle, this is up on a 9. And I followed exactly the same pattern, but because of gauge, it becomes proportionately larger. Nothing else was changed on it. It's the exact same pattern. All you do is put 2 strands together and work it. And I love this. This is back again to big, oversized, throw it on. You can tie it around your waist. You can wear it sideways. It's just big enough that you can create all different kinds of shapes out of it. And that detail is wonderful. The other thing I want to show you is this is the nuance all on its own. So knitting it right off the ball, just letting the colors come and go, these are exactly the same color. But when you add mohair to it and you go up to a bigger needle size, the halo from the mohair fills in the space and makes the color changes more subtle. And here's the back. All of these colors and all of these shades are in here in one form or another. They just change how they look because of the mohair. So if you're somebody who likes sweater sets, likes pieces to go together, this would make an amazing undersweater with that as the wrap. If you're doing any kind of traveling again now, same thing. Packs really easily, interchangeable pieces. And I've been having so much fun with the yarn that we've created a brand new piece using that exact same color. So what we've done here, you can see a really pretty woven eyelet pattern. Did it as a scarf just because I wanted to play and get it done. But it's 2 balls of yarn, same colorway, outside of one for a knit row, inside of ball 2 for a knit row, then inside of the first for a purl row, outside of the second for a purl row. So it's 2 knit rows, 2 purl rows, alternating between inside and outside of the ball. Now I know it sounds crazy, but it was really, really fun to do. I just put the yarn in separate Ziploc bags. It moved really fast. And in order to do 2 knit rows, you follow 1 row across, hold on to your stitches, pull the needle, and now the stitches are at the right side. Take the yarn, come across. So knit row, purl row, or right side, wrong side, wrong side. Super, super fun to do. And all it's taking is the colors and it's playing with them. So instead of getting long stripes or wide stripes, you're now getting dots and dashes, and it looks like a tweed. Really, really fun to do. So this will also turn into something else because I'm in love with the technique. The other thing is just how beautiful all these colors are. So maybe a little bit easier to see just how colorful they are. Work it inside or outside, no matter what you do, and you don't have to use the same color. So if you really want to complicate it and create more colors, take 2 diverse colorways and use them in the same project. There's certainly lots and lots of options. And what started out this whole discussion is when I was visiting Carrie and Fontel a few weeks ago, there was a piece of knitting that I was working on, and I'm always trying to find different ways to do things. And I found a pattern from Rick Mondragon, who most of you know from Stitches and XRX. And he's a good friend of ours. And this is a pattern that he developed 20 some odd years ago that I have held on to. And so I talked to him, he gave us permission to use it and put our own speed to it. And so the girls have it on their side, but this is what our class is going to be. And I'm really, really excited to show this to you. I think it's one of the most special pieces we've done in a very long time. It's not easy to come up with stitch patterns and stitch ideas that are unique and different. But this looks like moving boxes where you're seeing corners and sides, but it is all stockinette. It's nuance and volante. So volante is cotton and merino. Ultimoda cashmere fine can be substituted if you want to, but it's a multi and a solid, and it's 2 rows of each. Now, what's fun about it is that the design is created with short rows. There's a technique called pop, which is a purl yarn over purl. And then there's another technique called slip, slip, purl back. So it's a full fashion decrease on the wrong side. And now you can see it on the body. It looks like Fontel's been woven or been folded, and we've undone the folding, but it's a completely flat piece. It's all about the color illusion in the way that the stitch comes together. So I am madly in love with this. I would also be a great scarf. So if you're not a sweater person, but you're an accessory person, we can do it as a scarf. In the class, we're going to give you the options for however you want to do it. The pullover comes in lots and lots of different sizes. And it would also make a great poncho. So like Fontel had the other poncho on, you can do the same thing. You do it as a wrap. When it's all done, you put it on and you sew up part of it. So all of those movements and the color changes will now be on the diagonal versus going across the body. I will tell you, I loved doing it, and I am really excited about doing this as a class with all of you. So I hope that you're excited about it. There's some amazing colors. It's really, really fun to do. And it's a stitch that you will do again. I've already started doing it on thicker yarns. So it's back to having legs. It's a pattern that I will love to do. And it's actually called the Mondragon pullover. So it's a pattern exclusively for us with Rick's permission.
So Barry, let's remind everybody that the sweater that I have on is this kit. If you purchase a kit, we're going to get it right out in the mail to you. And then 2 weeks from today, Barry will come back and he's going to walk us through all the nuances, if you will, of the pattern. So just know that that's an option for you, that we'll be back in 2 weeks if you want to do the class. So
yeah, there's no charge for the class. It's something that I can't wait to spend more time with you and to show you how to do. We're going to play with techniques. I think almost everybody has done short rows. If you haven't, at the end of today, I'm going to spend a few minutes showing anyone who wants to stay the kind of short rows that I do. We're going to be doing German short rows. But the trick to it is not the style of short rows, but the way that its pattern is written is it's telling you to work so many stitches, turn, work a German short row, and count stitches. And so the short row, in this case, creating the legs, which is what a German short row does, is part of the stitch count. And so you'll see how it all comes together. But there'll be 3 really easy techniques. There'll be a tiny bit of homework, because I'm going to have you get a little swatch set up, and we're going to work through it together in class, and then you'll be all set to rock and roll on it. Carrie, do me a favor, hold it on the diagonal a little bit just so they can see what it would look like as a poncho. Yeah, there you go. And both sides are different because the color changes are different. So you're in total control. I mean, if you don't want the colors to striate the way that they are, use 2 balls and alternate them, using one from the inside, one from the outside. I know you've heard that a lot from me, inside, outside, but it's total play with color. Carrie, can you try it on and put it and stand on your head?
I can't. Will I? No. This feels wonderful. Oh, there you go.
Yep. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And just look at the visual aspect of that. It's quite incredible.
It is. Let me change it.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I've got for you.
We're opening up to questions.
Yep.
Everyone can unmute yourselves, please. You're welcome to be part of our discussion. If there's anything we can answer or do or tell you about.
Or if you want something shown again.
So I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
So if I want to do that in a scarf,
Mhm.
do I get the pattern and stuff before Barry comes back to do the Zoom?
Yes, the kit, well, you'll get emailed the pattern like a week before or a few days before, because I have to proof it. But the yarn you'll have in plenty of time, and there'll be a little sheet that gives you what the homework is.
Perfect. You got some very cool stuff. I really like.
Thank you. Thank you. We've been really inspired again. We're finally getting out and doing some traveling and working on new seasons. So it's fun to see where the collection's going. Really, really exciting.
Love it. What are the color balls for that last project?
Nuance.
Yeah, so it's this.
So nuance plus black?
Well, plus any solid color. It's a yarn called Volante. So
Okay.
just like that shawl that Fontel showed you, you can do it more color on color. I think it looks better when you go something really diverse. So like this would be gorgeous with forest green, all the limes and the peaches with forest green. This one, which is all lilacs and shrimp colors, would be gorgeous with navy or forest green. This is all the earths, would be great with chocolate brown or black. This is the color we did it in. We did it with black. This is all the watercolors. I would probably go really light on this. I mean, like Fontel was saying, somebody did it with a lilac or a gray. You just want it to show. The question you always have to ask yourself is it going to show? Is it worth the effort that I'm putting into it? To do it and not have it show won't work. And trust me, you all know us well enough. If you give us a color combination and we go to pull it, we kind of go, okay, I'm not sure this is going to work. We're going to pick up the phone and we're going to call you to make sure that when you get it, you're going to be happy with it. So we've got you covered.
Yeah, can you explain how you would use that same design or make that same design into a poncho?
Yeah, so you're going to cast on just like you're doing the bottom of a sweater. And you're going to continue to go. It's just going to be one really long, like a wrap. So it's going to be a big, gigantic rectangle. And when it's all done, you put it on yourself. So here's a mini wrap.
It's just gonna be just like this. Just gonna be a big rectangle.
With a hole in the center for the head?
You're going to create the hole. So here's the rectangle.
There you go, Barry.
You put it on. It goes diagonally across the body. And you decide how much room you need for your head, how much shoulder you want to show. And then this gets sewn together. So it's just taking a long, big diagonal and putting it on angle.
Yeah, be sharp.
That sounds doable.
It's definitely doable because there's no increases or decreases. It's a big rectangle. So once you've got this pattern stitched down, you'll know it by heart for sure.
It is such an optical illusion type thing. It's great.
It's
Yeah.
so clever.
It is the most interesting part about it. And we're really lucky that Rick was kind enough to let us use it. So he's seen it and he is over the moon excited about it as well.
He's a great guy, so.
He is very lucky to be friends with him.
Oh, it's stunning.
Barry,
Yeah,
Barry, I have a question on the Mondragon tee. What is the finished bust measurement in the length? Do you have a 40-inch bust?
I don't have the instructions
Or do you
with me.
know?
It's going to be up on the website, but there's
Okay.
going to be something close. I think it's a 42 because it's
Okay.
supposed to be worn a little oversized. It's not something that you want really fit to the body. So
Okay.
I know you like things to, fit a little bit
Mhm.
closer, and you know your size perfectly, Lisa. So
Uh-huh.
it's just,
Okay.
it's a big multiple. And so trying to alter it, the only thing we could do would be to make it smaller, but then you have to put a gusset in
Right.
and that loses the effect. So it's just something that you wear with a pair of jeans or a nice slack, and it just is a little more relaxed in the way that it fits on the body. And that's to give you enough of the illusion.
And what are the other techniques besides the German short row that
It's a technique called pop, which is purl one, yarn over, purl one, all in the same stitch.
okay.
Easy. And the last one is a slip, purl through the back. And again, if
Okay.
you've done an SSK, it's no different. It's just how you catch the stitch. It's like doing a full fashion decrease on the purl side. So it's forcing your stitches to go in a direction that
Mhm.
creates the illusion of a zigzag.
Okay. Thanks.
You'll be fine.
Montel, what's that one you've got on right now?
I have on it's called Beneath the Grid.
Okay.
So, and it's on the website. And so this is Nuance, and it is the blue. So what I have on is the blue, that's this color. This is the same color that was in the triangular shawl that Barry showed you. Again, it's just, these are such wonderful yarns. They just are so adaptable. So,
And Jill just asked a question. So how will you be able to see this again? So it's being recorded.
Yeah.
Once it's downloaded, it'll be up on Fontel's website. So on greatyarns.com, you'll be able to find this up there to be able to see it, to look at it again. And again, keep in contact with us. It's not something we're throwing up on YouTube because it really is just for our group. You gave us your time and we want to be able to give it back to you. So it's just for us.
and we stopped recording when we went
Well,
to the,
We're going to stop now, so we'll tell everybody, not all of you go with it, but the recording, we're going to say goodbye.
yeah.